have already faced, those who have appeared in the NAC committee, we have experienced this one. They are asking that actually exactly what are you are doing as a best practice. And okay, it's also my privilege to introduce Professor P.K. Bhattacharya ji. He is a Senior Fellow and Associate Director, Editor Knowledge Management Division. That is the institution is the Energy Resources Institute, TERI. TERI is a very renowned institution. Earlier it was Tata's. Now it is Government of India's. That is government. It's a independent.
It is above Government of India.
It's definitely it's a standard.
Independent Research Institute.
It is Independent Research Institute. Then Dr. To his credit, he has a very big biodata. But okay, let me just cover up some of the his achievements. Dr. Bhattacharya ji.
Tripathi ji, रहने दीजिए.
No, sir, something,
No, it's okay.
some highlighted things.
Yes, it's okay. Let me tell about my biodata.
Okay.
See,
Okay.
I am a librarian by profession, but as I grow in the librarianship, so we all have witnessed transition towards digital services and all. So from our services, from library science, it came to digital library, from there knowledge management, and from there different, very soon you will find a situation where everything will be taken care of by AI. Now Government of India is also trying. So when Akash kept this as a topic, that is in digital age, that makes everything different. Means if there is without in digital age, so then the normal library practices what we are following, that best practices is applicable there. The moment you put in digital age, so a hell lot of things comes up. तो मेरा कोशिश यही है जो लाइब्रेरी को कैसे more valuable बनाए. So that's how we are trying in TERI library or TERI Knowledge Resource Center we call it, and I am heading that Knowledge Resource Center. Now I do a lot of projects for different government and different multilateral, bilateral, international level projects, and also I teach in Delhi University as well as in IGNOU, but also I train several several people who actually on the areas of sustainability, because everything is now getting marched. So marched towards the area of sustainability. Very soon, this digital age will take over of the physical papers and all. So the reason is that is why sustainability comes. So in different areas of sustainability. So what I will present today, how exactly we are practicing, how others are practicing, and what way we should, think from the perspective of a from a responsible citizen, from the sustainable point of view, how library can be valuable to them. So one of the important area what actually public libraries or other libraries are doing already, that how you can make means digital inclusion, means bringing the digital divide as much and bridging the digital divide as much as possible, and how best you can train people so that they from these trainings they earn their livelihood as well. So we the librarians are sitting in the ocean of science or ocean of knowledge, and how best we can explicit knowledge rather, and how we can put those explicit knowledge into practice in a way that people gets benefited. Now, if you see from the early days of library science, what has been taught to us, that how best you can actually serve your users. So what I am saying or trying to say is that how best you can not only serve your defined users, but think beyond defined users as well. Because they don't have knowledge, you have knowledge. You are custodian of knowledge, so how you can, bring that to practice. So all these things I'll, tell you. So keeping that thing in, first of all, for those who do not know about Terry, I will put couple of slides about that what Terry is all about. I'll, give you some glimpses of information, products and services, best practices, which are followed or should be followed and how you should follow it. Then there is knowledge management system and different projects what we are doing. From there, we will be telling you, I will be telling you some of the, best practices we follow. So let's, take the journey together. So TERI is a research institute. It is not a government research institute. People think that we are, government think tank because TERI is very closely associated with different governments. Like myself, I am associated with, at least four department projects like DST projects, we do DSIR projects, DBT projects, MOEFCC's project, MNR's project, Jal Shakti's project. So these are the, different divisions with whom I am connected directly. Now there are many other, government projects TERI does. So that's why people often feel that, TERI is a government institute, but it's not the fact. TERI is an autonomous or rather independent research institute where we put, we provide government different, solution whenever they require it. Now, when you see knowledge solutions, so that's what where we came into the existence. Established in 1974, TERI works in different, aspects of sustainability. Like you can see that, agriculture, climate change, energy, different environment. So all these areas we are actually looking into. Now, we have offices different parts of India. Like one is in, it's very difficult. From here, I can't see even properly.
Exactly.
So it will be difficult if I. So maybe I
Yes, sir, you
can I come little closer there?
Closer.
Yes, sir, yes.
ओ ये थोड़ा सा हाँ
No, because
हाँ
इसको पढ़ा लिया मान लिया पढ़ा हुआ मान लिया उसको देखा हुआ मान लिया
somehow or the other in through different projects we are, covering. Now, let's come to our topic today. So that was Terry's, brief introduction. Now, Terry Knowledge Resource Center was established as a Terry library even before the research came into practice. Means Terry's research came into practice. Perhaps we are the only organization which was established as a knowledge center first. That is 1974, Terry was established as a knowledge center. So our library established first, and thereafter, all the resources, research units of TERI actually they came into practice. Now, let us understand the topics today, because in the digital age, you need to know that how digitization happened, because many of us know that several digitization things you can digitize, particularly in NCERT. We have a lot of things which we can digitize. Many things we cannot digitize, I think, ethics and because of copyright issues. So that definitely you must have already heard from others. But the issue is that when digitization happens, so you need to have a practice of digitalization into the focus. Now, what digitalization, covered other than digitization, it's basically, application of digitization into practice so that your operation becomes easy. For example, digitalization in library means that you are adding Koha into practice, or maybe library automation software into practice, so that it gives you easier way of cataloging, classification, retrieving, etc., etc. So similarly, when you do the information products and services from library, so that actually helps you to you know in the digital form, so that actually helps you to propagate it, promote those things to different people at same, all at the same time. So that's how it's giving the practice of digitalization. Now, I am sure most of you are practicing digitization as well as digitalization in your everyday work. The next thing which comes is the digital transformation. Now, in the digital age, what is expected that library will perhaps someday will move toward digital transformation. Now, digital transformation means where not only the resources will be digitized, which we are actually discussing today, but based on those resources, we will be able to capture the actual knowledge content, what is necessary, and which we can actually give it to people for their benefit. Not in the form of a document as such, but maybe in the form of a answer. Like if you put something, your query in Google today, you will find that lot of things are coming up as because Google is integrated with the Gemini AI system. So things are coming up like that. So people are expecting that library will be doing the information consolidation as well and put the right answer to them. It's not the book itself. So that's what is actually the expectation in the digital age. Let's be very clear about it, because otherwise what will happen that you know think about tomorrow, when what I was just hearing, that you will be purchasing digital books. Now, when you purchase digital books, today you will be maintaining records and etc. etc. everything that is a process intensive steps. But my question is, if everything is digitized and those processes are also getting, maybe there is a software which can create metadata, automated metadata by themselves, then what will be job of a librarian then? So that's the reason we have to think of how digital transformation can impact your library. Now, there are several things which I can show you. Now, why this is important for libraries per se? Now, this figure is very much important, that you need. It's taking there. So the figure which is called that India's GDP 50% will be digital economy based. Now, if you see that from the knowledge perspective, what we are actually doing, we are supporting our every aspects of economic aspects, rather, in a way that if it is a school, so basically schools teaches, but as well as there are a lot of economic aspects, because that is how school functions. Similarly, if it is a industry, if it is a college, institution, whatever, so they are getting their practices are becoming digital. If that is digital, so that means digital economy is having a clear share there as well. And that means as a organization, you need to pay attention on that 50% of digital economy. So basically what is expected that, every documentation will also become digitized today or tomorrow or maybe day after. So that's a, time bound thing. Now, so there is a dire need to, grow according to the need of the hour. Now, what is digital transformation means that has, changed the subject altogether. One is work collaboratively, because in the digital domain, everybody has resource or information or knowledge. So basically, if you work on a collaborative way, so that will give much more, strength to you. For example, so that is the first best practice we should follow. For example, you see why government of India, promoted INDEST consortia. Because if you, you know, work collaboratively, so basically you will be, getting lot of, you can save lot of money. You can, not only saving lot of money, but you can actually, get lot of resources at a much more minimal prices. So that is important thing, that you work collaboratively, taking collective responsibility. Now that means, everyone is responsible for their own job, and that's how, when, for example, say Indest, so every library has, maintained their own identity of resources, because they have taken their own responsibility. So that is how collectively, you are taking responsibility. It's not that, of course, IIT Delhi had the headquarters maintained the most of the thing, but that does not mean that other libraries have stopped, practicing their own practices. So this is how taking collective responsibility is an important thing. Digital inclusion of people. Now, there is enormous, scope for the library professionals, because majority of our, stakeholders, in this case maybe students, so they are not digitally inclusive, not included, because of the simple reason they may not have, access to computer, access to network, access to internet, and many other things. Now, if they are not digitally included, so there is a clear digital divide, and that is getting, rather than bridging the digital divide, that is getting widened. So what will happen? A group will be created, maybe, 30%, because as per the penetration of received in the last data received, internet penetration in India is about 47% now. Earlier it was 43%. Now this is increasing day by day, even in rural sector. Now, if 47%, that means these 47% have access to smartphone or computer or internet related databases and all. The 53% are, on the other side of the digital, divide. So that is where a lot of, even these 40, 50, 47%, they have, different levels of, literacy. So as a library professional, best practices should be to make them digitally inclusive, so that they can use their services, your services. So that's important criteria. And that is why today's libraries, I know that there are many, libraries, they have gone beyond their users, and, creating digital literacy among the nearby, localities. Particularly the, public libraries have started doing that, and they are more encouraged to do that. But others have already are in the way of, doing such thing. So if you see that, you have to do literacy in library staff, patron, and community users everywhere. So this digital literacy is important. Now, key to digital transformation is therefore what we understand. One is the user service. Now, when we say user service, means user-centric service. Empower your users to practice themselves. Otherwise, what will happen, as a library professional, we will, continuously be bogged down by the user's query and everything. Rather than if you actually empower your users, so many of the normal queries they can solve themselves. So that is why if when you do digital inclusion, so many of your regular work you can actually you have empowered your users, they can practice by themselves. So that is one way of best practices should be followed. Second thing is resources. So all of you know that different digital resources are in the picture, and the library staff. Now those who will be providing services, they should be well trained. Now another best practices is that your staff should be properly trained. Now, such type of PDP programs or different, if you attend different type of conferences, learn different things, how exactly these are to be done. So that actually, lead to digital inclusion as such. Now, growth path to digital inclusion is access to open knowledge. So whatever knowledge is available in internet in open form, open domain. So if we can, you know, get access to them through open licensing, open data, open access. I am not going into much detail of that. Now, if any one of you have any query, you can definitely ask me now or maybe at the end of the you know discussion. Data-driven collaborative research. These days, most of the research are done based on facts and data. Now that data needs to be curated. Now, libraries normally, subscribe only to books, journals, or maybe documents. Now, many of the resources you need to curate so that your user, whatever exactly they are looking for, they can, get benefited from there. Promoting open educational resources. So that is, of course, a conscious effort everyone is doing, so as the librarians as well. Strengthen digital literacy in communities. That's what I just talked before. So that actually help us to bridge digital divide. Empowering technologies. Now there are new technologies are coming up. Now best practices should be that let us adopt those new technologies in the library practices. Now let me be very clear. See, we cannot have library dissociated from technology advancement. Now, if you see that, ab chahe ya na chahe, whether you are willing or not willing, these technologies will definitely come in the library sector. And this sector, many of us thought that, computers are not for libraries when it came. Today, you see that they are part and parcel of libraries. Digital digitization or of records. We thought that is government records will be digitized. But today we have been told that our records should also be digitized. AI, now we are thinking AI is for others. It is not going to, impact on libraries. It's going to impact on libraries now or, maybe after 5 years. Within 5 years, you will see a different change. Now, issue here is that we have to empower ourselves in such a way, our best practices, if that needs to be changed accordingly, we have to change those practices in a way so that you appropriate digital technologies you use in your regular practices. And many libraries have started doing that. Of course, every time it actually first adopted by the universities, from there it come down quite fast to even school libraries. So this is definitely going to happen in this case as well. So empowering technologies is very much different, needed one. Digital inclusion of users, when you see, now your user needs to be digitally empowered as well, so that they can use it. So First of all, you have to empower them with literacy, with different type of trainings and different type of programs. Like different database driven services, like databases and analytics driven services, social media driven services. Now when you say social media driven services, that means you are actually helping your own library to get promoted with the to the user, and your library is growing along with your users, because number of people who are visiting, for example, let me say, when you maintain a website, easily you can say that you have few lakhs of visits of your website, but that many people never visit to library. So that means when you put matter or the relevant matter in website, so you reach out to many more people compared to your uh, in physical form, what whosoever is visiting your libraries. I am not denying the fact that we should increase the footfalls. Definitely we should take all aspects of increasing footfalls, but we cannot deny this fact that number of users visit your website every day or in a year or a month is much more compared to the physical visits. Easily you will see, I am telling you, in our case, I'm just giving an example. When we used to maintain a very big libraries, in fact, Dr. Akash has visited, and many of you might have already visited Terry Library. Few years back, we took a conscious decision that we will move to digital library space. When our library was there, we used to have, library footfalls or visit in total, including, offline and online resources. It never crossed 25,000 per month. Today, you know, just about a week back, I took last month's data. So it was 47,000. Our library is now shrunk to a, one-fourth of the size. So that is what is coming to the, in future. And we have to practice or rather change ourselves, our best practices according to that. Now, incubation hub in libraries is another. Now, AI and VR application is coming in a very big way in libraries. Now, where all it can be applicable, I have put a different slide, I'll show you. Incubation hub in libraries where community can participate, your users can participate. Today morning, I came to know that there is a incubation hub is getting developed in different libraries. Government has already taken active steps so that these incubation hubs in libraries can, or rather a brainstorming session can be held within the library. So a portion of library is converted into a meeting space where people can actually take have their discussions and all. Consider your school children. If you uh, can have such a place within the library where they can come and discuss on certain topics. So such type of changes in the ambience or atmosphere, that is a best practice. Similarly, AI VR application, if you see, so that is taking part in the libraries incubation center. Skill development like digital tool use, different online security tools, because many a times we run into problem. We librarians run into problems since we do not have enough knowledge on what is wrong and what is right. So that is why, your online security and privacy is required. Digital media lab and maker space are very common in Europe and, American, libraries. Now this is coming in, India as well. Now, see, this is the media lab where exactly all options are there. So you can actually your media cell or your different type of small videos can be created by students in that lab. So that facilities have been created. Now, this is one example of, another maker space where, different document means systems are kept. So, your user can come and they can try to, do different type of models. Now, these are innovative practices, but these are going to be best practices in future as well. Now let's come to information management best practices. This is so up till now what I was telling you, that was a one part, that how digital technologies is what kind of changes it is bringing in best practices section. Ultimately speaking on the area of how in the digital age you are going to be follow the best practices. So you digitize your record, organize your record. Now this organization is all cataloging, classification things, what we are saying. User access management, that is very important, because in digital domain, like in some books, and we do not issue some books in the as the reference material. So here also you can user access. So that is necessary. Storage retrieval of relevant data, information management plan, access control policies should be in place, which is very closely linked to user access, and then create storage systems, means whatever type of change, so either they are in the other people's domain, that is in on their cloud, or if it is in our, so that cloud sources you have to have. Now there could be some very coveted data that data we cannot put on the site, so that is different thing, we should not put that. But we have to assess how much storage you require and in which form we will require. Somebody keeping data in microform, to someone is putting data in the cloud system as well. So then there has to be a governance model. So that is what is going to be the job of the library staff, that how these entire system will be governed. So that is information management best practices needs to be followed in the digital world. When you come in the case of information, what I am saying that search is all about. I heard that Dr. Akash was saying about federated word. So federated search means if you have several type of buckets, so you can actually create a link in a creative. Now, when you say standardized data formats, that includes, your metadata, your taxonomy needs to be standardized. Now, there our skill set of librarianship comes into picture. Now, how do you standardize it? Following either DCMI or following Mark 21, like that kind of thing. So that is how you are actually creating your metadata, or rather doing metadata harvesting, so that data can be retrieved easily through a single window access from different buckets. So that is what standardize all means. Now data retrieval also depends on different themes or sub themes. You can put all of them. So that is how standardized data formats you can do. Now these standardizations are very much essential, because this allow you to share your data with others. That means interoperability play a role there. Now many of us, while we try to open a movie, might have encountered a problem, your format is not supported, or sometime we get some document which we try to open in our system, that doesn't get open. So these are basically not as per your format. So that standardization of data format is one of the most crucial part of in information service or product development. Then your product data, information product or service. So you have to enrich that data with very much value added content, and that value addition will come from consolidation of information products, consolidation of information which required to be done at the librarian's level. Followed by that is the automate workflows. Now, these all are part of workflows. Like from the point when a book or a document comes in the digital domain. So from there till it reaches to user. So there are several steps you follow, like, you enter them, you put tag on them, you put, classification, etc. Then you do metadata harvesting, you publish them, you do all these things. Now that needs to be in automated workflows. So these process should be in such a way that only in a single, either not, if it is not required, so it should be a seamless process of going into the system, relevant process. Integrate with other systems. Now, for example, you have created a digital library, you have created a e-library, institutional repository, you have created your own library, catalog, etc. Now, don't expect that user will come and, search your Koha first. Okay, I didn't get it. Then I'll go and search to your means repository, then to digital library. Okay, I got it. Now, three times search people are not going to do. So what will happen in the process? They will not be getting benefit of three, systems you have developed. So integration is very much essential, that you have to have a single format with a federated search facility. Now, many of the libraries are using remote access facility. So that is a best practice they follow. Now, what they are doing actually, whatever resource they are having, so they are connected with the remote access server. So there are plenty of, organization which provides such kind of facility. So that integrate your all types of documents. So you can search from a single window and get data wherever it is lying. So that, and even in the open domain, open access resource also you can get. Data quality needs to be maintained, and that can be assured through regular updation of the data quality. Optimize for SEOs. Now, SEO is search engine optimization. Do you have idea how search engine optimizations are done? Just I am giving you a brief understanding of what is SEO. SEO is, for example, you search Google, it retrieved 2000 or 2 lakh record. Now, how many pages you search? You search first page. No, this is, I do not have relevant records, or I have 2 records. Maximum you will go to the second page. After that, you actually carry out a second search. Now, SEO means that you train your data in such a way that it gives only the, your document at the in the forefront, and that is done based on relevancy. Like how many times or whatever documents you are putting, or search, string you are, a search phrase you are putting. So how many times it comes in the, you know, title, how many times it's come in the, keyword, how many times it comes in the, the main, section heads. So that is, if it is coming more number of time, that means your search engine, whosoever developing it, not only Google, but in other case like CMS, any content management system, they also follow the similar way. So basically you are getting those, document only retrieved. So it's basically, we call them as relevancy ranking. Now, this is how your documents are getting stored. Now you can understand why I talked about taxonomy in data formats. Because when you freeze the taxonomy, so you are controlling your vocabulary. So basically that means same name or same theme will be given to large number of records. So when your documents you are searching through digital library, so many number of documents will come up. Otherwise, you will not get documents from your digital library, although they are there. So, optimization for SEO is therefore very much important, and that's what, our library staff should follow while they are developing any content in digital form. While we are doing metadata harvesting, so we do not pay attention to this particular aspect. So if you are writing a similar type for a similar type of document, you are writing A. So for everywhere you have to write A. Don't write A plus or A minus something of means related word, because otherwise you that also you can retrieve, and that is where AI is actually helping. That is where contextual searching is getting implemented. So that is a costly affair as on date in application in library databases, but it's very means in a non-AI environment, this search engine optimization plays crucial role. So this is one of the major best practices I was saying. Now, when I say that information management workflow should be automated, so data collection, it means data collection, data standardization, data enrichment, data centralization, validation or rather cleaning of data, and then monitoring and updating. Everything should be automated. Means if I need to monitor what my data are all about, so I have to monitor in a weekly basis or monthly basis or whatever way we want to. So that's how we have to, go on. Now, what best practices? Another best practices is information consolidation. Now, when I started my discussion today, I told you that users approach to library has changed. Changed why? Because they are coming to library on means even you, whenever you have any requirement, do you see your library books or do you see Google? You go to Google and search. So to you, anyone will come only after searching that Google thing. So that means you have to give them something value added addition. Then only they will come to you. And that value addition can be done through information analysis, where you take different parts of information from multiple documents, then consolidate, then synthesize it, means you are adding those documents in the form of a seamless or proper flow should be maintained. And then that is why repackaging etc are coming up, because when a book you are taking a document from book, that is already a packaged document. Book is a packaged document, it's a structured document. So you are taking a portion and then create another structured document, means you are. So this is why analysis, synthesis and repackaging or consolidation is so much important in adding to add value to your library service. So these best practices are followed by many libraries including ours. Now, especially these are followed at the level of, you can say, library system earlier, but now this is, slowly coming into other library system as well. Consolidation, repackaging, what are the steps I have put? Some of the examples I have given. Now, different information consolidation products means your news clipping service, when multiple types of news clipping, like based on people's name, coming. So if you create news clipping of different nature, because otherwise news clipping service people do not actually go through it unless it is of great value. You can also create news clipping when you summarize those news clipping on a weekly basis on specific topic, maybe a contemporary area which people are mostly looking for. So that kind of news clipping you can put. TOC, library alerts, these all indexing, abstracting. SDI service also you are knowing. So I am not detailing this slide, I am keeping them. Specialized information service, there are many. The mining is required when we want to get different type of information from data or want to visualize a data. So that's what library often ask. Audio visual data is also there, where multimedia tools are used. You can create metadata harvesting of AV related documents and you can put those things there. Of some of the bibliographic database, this is one information product which are used by EBSCO. So that is bibliographic form, but you can also get the full text when you require them, if you need that. Now, digital library, this is the best known digital library as on date, National Digital Library of India. But this has a AI component at the back. When you search it, you will find that it is giving you the correct document. So, or rather, it is actually even searching what maybe related or relevant documents. So it also extract those things. So now different type of reports, as I was mentioning, that these are state of the art report, which gives a status report kind of thing. So on any specific topic, many of the topic we require to develop such kind of reports, technical reports, research type of reports where different research reports are there, different market research report, which is actually in the form of this also can be developed. So, there are various type of information consolidation products. So these are example of that. Statistical report, these are trend report based on data. Tool report also. User manual, people are doing this kind of user manuals also. Many of our library professionals are, getting engaged in different, IT organizations where they are developing IT tools or manuals. So that kind of things are also can be developed. Now, in emerging technology use, if you see, one emerging technology is the data analytics, what we are using in libraries so that we get data. So that is one part. So I will leave this presentation. You can go through these slides. Means if you have, so one of the important thing is this dashboard here, or maybe some data tools which actually make other people's life easy. For example, I'm just giving you today only we discussed one specific project requirement. So their ministry is asking, above all, you create a dashboard for me so that I can get whatever, you know, uh, means whatever funds I have allocated under different projects, I can monitor that. Now, this is type of requirement they are, coming up with, the respective libraries. For us, in Terry, we also have received the similar, report that created data dashboard for us. Now, data analytics actually that is very special kind of, usage in library field we are having. So this is one example of dashboard in health information system, how people have done it. Social media use actually that helps you, you know, promote your own library services, because whatever good things you are doing, so naturally you want them to be promoted. So that is only promoted through different social media use. AI application in libraries, like it could be system generated data, what resources people are using, so that you can, you know, do the your self rectification accordingly. So your what kind of resources or if can be merged together and create a document for your users. So AI can help you to develop that kind of thing. So there are CCTV usage. So that actually can support you which section is most used by your users. So such type of knowledge a library help librarian to understand much better way how he or she will actually use data for the library. So this is actually, helping you to use your library data in a much more robust way, in a much more efficient way, so that whenever you take a decision, that is supported by the data. Because always people like a decision when you are going ahead with a lot of data. So gamification for students, this is very much important because when you are actually, you know, you are teaching students through different games. Because what I have seen, even my own, study days, I saw what my son has done, and I think many of you must be practicing the or feeling the same thing, that for students, library period is the one of the most boring period. Now, why that is so? Because they do not, find enough, interesting thing to do in the library. Now, if you can teach them through different games, so that is what is gamification is all about. Now, that does not mean that they will play game only, video games only, but what I mean to say, that very innovative methods are there which are followed by libraries as best practices, so that your students can use it. Virtual reality, this is an interesting thing which are slowly creeping into libraries, so that is another emerging trend which are being followed in different libraries. So this is what government of India has, there is a report named Arup. So Arup actually is this, a team of people. They worked and submitted this report, and that is for library digital transformation. You have to have a innovative or new approach which support lifelong learning, powerful activators of public, data-driven services, service through users' participation, and social resilience and economic prosperity. Now, these are the major terms they used that a library should do in future. So when you say best practices, so these are the highlighted uh, keywords you have to keep in mind, because that's what this particular report is available on the net. You can download and see how they have actually thought of the digital transformation in libraries. Now, another best practice in library is the information products marketing, because whenever you do marketing, then only people come to know about your product or value of your product. So you can plan accordingly. Idea is to attract your user and position your service, and these are the different type of marketing strategy you can follow. The most you know useful strategy are search engine optimization, which I told already, linking strategy. You asked, that is what collaborating, collaborative work we means one library can request the other library that, see, I have these resources you do not have. So link my library also in your search engine, so that whenever your people search, they come to my library and see, means digital library and see. So that is how people will be able to use resources better. So this is how linking strategy works. Social media strategy we discussed, but others, let's email, etc. Crowdsourcing also is a way through which you attract more crowd towards your site by giving them some additional benefits, etc., etc. Now, some of the best practices I will show what we are doing in Terry very quickly. So these are the different, areas where we work. We work in, knowledge services. We work in entrepreneurship development. We work in green skill development, different analytical projects, reports, capacity, image, knowledge management, and repository development. Some national importance publication we have produced, developed partnerships for collaborative learning through e-learning modules and all, techno-driven platform and databases we have developed. I'll give you some example, and community awareness program also we carry out. Now, if you see, it doesn't look like, and we touched upon these many SDGs also, because I told you that Terry work in different SDG areas, so our work covered these many areas. Now, these are work of a library which is actually practicing, knowledge. Our main thing is like you, knowledge resource only. But, using them, we are, providing this many services to Terry, not only to Terry, to different other organizations as well, including government organizations. Now, so this is how Terry came actually platform. We have a platform so that is consisting of many repositories. We collect data, we format, evaluate data, standardization done, promotion and need assessment thereafter we carry out. Now, if we see how it is done, so from newspaper, from website, from business databases, or business databases means here not only business information where you can get, but all databases which are of our nature, because we work in the area of energy, environment, biotechnology, sustainability, that space. So all like databases like ProQuest databases, like Springer Link, like Elsevier's, Science Direct, those kind of databases are also included there. The role of KM to emerge as a centralized repository. Whatever resources are generated in Terry, we capture them, we store them in our system, as well as identify different opportunities by analyzing those resources, that what could be beneficial for our organization's growth. And this is how you know this process actually, from these sources, how this process actually follow. Now this is what is our KM system. You can see there are large number of some number of um, in the horizontal bar there are different type of resources are there, and under each of them there are many such sub repositories created. And if you see, and on the top, so these are the different numbers under each of the repositories what we have calculated and maintained for Terry's research. Now this system is a internal system. That resources is not available to outside resource, because this is there is a firewall for that. Now learning resources, when you see whatever lessons we learned, we develop a video of that, and under the KM spotlight we keep that. Several case studies of our different report projects, so everything are there. These are different proposals written. These are different reports you can find from there. These are different research paper written by Terry professionals. So these are research data set we have created and put in there. These are the lessons learned, that video I was just talking about. So those things are there. This thing has developed in SharePoint. Now we also maintain a digital library in GSDL, that is Greenstone Digital Library. So there we have all annual reports are there, and these two system talks to each other. This is KM link, that is Terry, whatever MOU Terry has signed with others. Terry, whatever movie Terry has developed. Terry books, means here we are capturing Terry books as well as e-books, whatever we have. Now that is, since this site is only for our own use, so that is why we can put all the books what we have purchased. And as Akash was also saying, we purchase the all books which are in a perpetual access manner. Now different services we develop from there and provide to users based on those resources what we have created. And if you see that usage are quite high now, views are 68,000. This is only the on a month wise how many records were downloaded, so those things are also there. Now some knowledge projects what we are doing. So one of them is study of studies. Study of studies is a simple project where Ministry of Donor actually told us to analyze whatever projects they have given to different for benefit of northeastern states. So analyze them and tell us which are those areas where document more projects should be given so that policy decision can take place. So that was the objective, and keeping that thing in mind, so we have analyzed more than 800 plus projects, 833 reports we have collected, and from there these things. Hmm. So these are the things. Now, this particular project has so many SDG mapping, systems are there. These are, different, is under the SDG coverage, what are the different type of reports are there. This is a database of equipments we have developed for Department of Science and Technology, and from there Shriman policy, Government of India has developed Shriman policy. Now this is only the collection effort and the metadata created about that in equipment. So this is job of a normal digital library of a created by the librarians. This project was on KXST, is knowledge exchange on sustainable development. So where different, you can see that there is a knowledge cafe, resource updates, policy instruments, those are, available. This particular resource is ENVIS resource partner on energy environment. So these are Ministry of Environment project we are implementing, where knowledge is the main, several type of documents we create and put there for public use. Preservation of documentation initiative Northeast India. For that, we have created a knowledge portal, which is a digital library with restricted access in the area of healing, healers corner. Otherwise, all knowledge resources are freely available. So these are the things we have, our people or our research staff has, collected, and we created their metadata repositories. So this particular healers thing is only restricted because there are a lot of, information are there which is not available otherwise. So this is one example I am just showing you, that is window of knowledge on sustainable transportation. This is a international project we have executed on digital library on green mobility, following all SEO techniques and all. So this is the different type of schematic diagram if you see, and against that these are the data are coming up as a this repository is a subject specific repository. Now on e-mobility, so these are the different knowledge hub are created, policies, regulations, etc. So these we have searched on policy, so that is why all policy related documents are coming. Technologies are also maintained there. You can search any technologies related to electric vehicle there. And journey, if you see that 1,13,000 users, so more than 4,73,000 views already we are having. And these are having huge coverage worldwide. And some of the examples I have given you, Emerald Insight also. Now this is the last thing what I am telling, that for communities, this up till this is the job of sitting in the library. Now this is a job where we have developed information service for livelihood generation of people, particularly in the area of solar technology, waste management, and electric vehicle. So these three areas, so we have covered more than 32 trainings, 1,500 trainees, 54% of them are already placed. So for that, you have to do some industry connect as well. So these are example of different types of, skill and capacity building program we do, and you can see for different organizations as well. And these are the different areas where we, carry out our trainings. These are the different success stories where people have started their entrepreneurship based on our training. So I'll stop here, and my time is up also by 5 p.m. So if you have any query, what best practices, because I have talked about many type of best practices. So you can just, ask me any question if you have any.
Okay, now it's open for discussion. If you have any query or if any input you want to ask, sir, then you can ask.
सर एक आपसे प्रेजेंटेशन में था इंक्लूजन ऑफ लाइब्रेरीज लाइब्रेरी नॉर्मल साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी कुछ में ज़्यादा नहीं बल्कि स्टार्टअप अपना काम करते हैं तो एक सोशल साइंस टेक्नोलॉजीज की लाइब्रेरीज मैं स्कूल लाइब्रेरीज का क्योंकि मैं स्कूल लाइब्रेरी से बिलोंग कर रहा हूँ तो बच्चों के अंदर इस तरह के बुक्स पढ़ने का तो काफी इंटरेस्ट पैदा हुआ है जो स्टार्टअप से रिलेटेड तो इसको थोड़ा सा और क्लैरिफाई करते हुए
देखिए, incubation center as a librarian, if you have means understanding of how incubation work, तो आप खुद कर सकते हैं because incubation center requires a CEO kind of person जो आपको बेसिकली बताएंगे how exactly those startups will function because incubation center means a hand holding area जहां पे आपको सिखाया जाएगा एग्जैक्टली कैसे प्रोडक्ट डेवलप किया जाता, उसको मार्केट किया जाता, उसको मार्केट में लिया जाता. For that kind of thing, you need a person in place. Now, when we say incubation center in a library, that means you are facilitating a incubation center in a library. तो see, सारे वर्क आप अकेला नहीं कर सकते. This is a collaborative world. You have to understand that. जो जॉब आपको नहीं आता, किसी और को आता है, तो आप उनको फैसिलिटेट करिए और उनको कहिए जो बच्चे मेरा यहाँ स्टार्टअप टाइप की एक्टिविटीज में कुछ करना चाहते हैं तो उसको करने दीजिए एंड देन यू क्रिएट अ स्पेस फॉर देम सो दैट दे कैन practice those things. You facilitate them with all resources, all materials. So that's what is your job as a librarian. When you say incubation hub in a library, it means that. Okay?
इस पर कुछ सेशन हम कंडक्ट करवाते हैं
हाँ हाँ डेफिनेटली आप बाहर से बंदे लाइए. पर्टिकुलरली इंक्यूबेशन हब लाइब्रेरी में डेवलप होता है कॉलेज या तो यूनिवर्सिटी लेवल में जहाँ पे थोड़ा और मैच्योरिटी होती है. लेकिन देयर आर सम स्टूडेंट्स इन स्कूल लेवल आल्सो दे आर फ्रॉम दैट पर्टिकुलर माइंडसेट, दे आर हैविंग दैट माइंडसेट, तो उनके लिए आप कर सकते हैं.
सीनियर सेकेंडरी की पढ़ते में ये
हाँ वही तो मैं कह रहा हूँ बिकॉज आजकल अंडर एनईपी 2020 आप लोगों को ये चीज करने के लिए बोला जा रहा है. जो आप 8th 9th की बच्चों को इन टाइप की इंक्यूबेशन हब बना के उसमें डालिए. द रीजन इज सिंपल, गवर्नमेंट डू नॉट हैव दैट काइंड ऑफ जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटी, दे कैनॉट क्रिएट. तो ये जो क्रिएट नहीं हो सकता तो इसके लिए आप अगर एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप क्रिएट करेंगे so that will create that will have a cascading effect, ripple effect. एक entrepreneur means 20 बच्चे का प्लेसमेंट हो गया, इस तरीके से सोचिए. So that is why it's getting मतलब in the school level इसको बोला जा रहा है. And
Okay, anybody else to ask anything?
yeah,
Okay. If no one is there, then I should summarize and conclude the session. Here it is a very wonderful session and the particular presentation and theme of the talk was very good. Best practices definitely in library. Best practice, although it was not very much common in library operations, but nowadays best practice is one of the major activities of library, and Sir has given very good idea and insightful for the how a library can transform itself from a storehouse of knowledge to a maker space or a space for creating knowledge and to how to analyze data, analyze information, synthesize it, consolidate it, and repackage it according to the need of the users. And that is really the library should be a very vibrant environment. so that not only the library users patron should be attracted, as well as people should be the library staff and library professionals should be always active and they be involved in the knowledge creation, information regeneration. That is the central thing. And several what you included in your talk, that is inclusiveness. We have to include all types of users. So I bridge that particular gap. And by providing such trainings and conducting these type of programs, veteran as well as staff, so that they can be independent, we can handle the knowledge and recreate it and then understand the need of the users and accordingly provide the library services. And if we, all this type of work, they just go on in library, definitely the image of library would increase and importance of library felt by people. And definitely the footfall as well as use of library and the resources and services definitely will increase. And so many things you have covered in how this integration of library services and technology and digital divide the three central points you touched upon and amalgamated everything there around and other things what you have given emphasis like the how to set up a inclusive hub, that incubation hub, maker space, and have already some library they have already done all this for recreation of knowledge and they giving a space to the users to recreate. Because nowadays the students, the patrons, they are getting lot of work like assignments, projects, and then some other assignments, and they have started using library resources. So these are things you have given emphasis. So really, there's a very wonderful session for we people, and we got enlightened through your talk. And thank you on behalf of LDD and on behalf of all the units of NCRT, all the unit libraries of NCRT, all uh, people are present here. And thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation and coming here. Thank
But I just want to add one thing.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you so for coming today. And another one is I just want to share one thing. Last year we at NLU Delhi and we did one project with Dr. C.K. Bhattacharya sir, and it was related to solar energy loss. And now this is a time to just make a statement that sir just tried us by giving to search the laws of the countries. Out of that, I think 20 or 30 countries, we never heard the name of that countries. And sir shows us for creating one repository for that. Even being a library professional.
That has that is now, on the web. You can search in ISA's site.
Yes, now it is functional. So actually, this type of skill, basically, we the library should have. No, they do not be doing general a simple library services type of things. They are also subject expert. कैसे कर पाते हैं सर? आज त्रिपुरा है, कल केरला है, और लाइब्रेरी में भी आपको
कल कल तो मैं मुक्तेश्वर में था.
कल पेशा रहते हैं. हाँ, वही मैं कह रहा हूँ. How you manage such library?
नहीं, एक्चुअली कल
Just for the
मुक्तेश्वर में इसलिए
motivation
था.
of all of us.
Many of you must have heard of DST's Inspire program. तो ये इंस्पायर प्रोग्राम जो है ना, उनकी एक पर्टिकुलर एरिया है, दैट इज फैकल्टी फेलोशिप प्रोग्राम, जो पोस्ट डॉक्टरल फेलोज, उनकी जो मतलब प्रोग्राम की इवैल्यूएशन कर रहा हूँ. तो उसके लिए डीएसटी का टीम के साथ मुक्तेश्वर में हमारा प्रोग्राम चल रहा था, मतलब डे लॉन्ग. उसके बाद वापस आया घर.
Thank you very much,
ये
sir.
चल रहा है.
Thank you very much, sir, for joining us today. Should we conclude? Okay. Thank you everyone to join us today. So we will meet tomorrow morning 9:30. Thank you very much.
Please fill your form.
Yes, please try to clear the form today.